Ever since they announced that we were getting a Fantastic Four reboot, everyone's been all like, oh my gosh, you gotta have it crossover with X-Men. Now the movie's out, people are like, nah, we good. Hi, I'm Andre and I'm a black nerd with a review for you, better reviews. Fantastic Four. I finally got to see it. I'm gonna say the good, as I always do, as well as the bad and the nerdy. Some of the things I say, you might be like, what? Andre, are you serious? But Rotten Tomatoes said 9%. I got some good things to say. And some not so good things to say. Warning, there will be spoilers in this video, and I'm reviewing this movie as a movie. You can come in with your comments about, well, in the comic book they did this and the blah, 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 blah. I don't care. First, the good. The movie's short. Okay, all the crap that the internet has said about Michael B. Jordan, oh my God, black guy's a Human Torch, even though he's red most of the time because he's on fire, but oh my God, he's black. You're gonna be glad that he's in this movie because he is clearly the one having the most fun with it. Reggie Cathey as Franklin Storm. This guy just dominates, and it's because he has this voice that every time he talks, he wants to see what's going on with his children. Reed, I think you have potential to tap into new worlds that we haven't seen before. He talks to Johnny Storm, he's like, so you are my son. You have so much potential to be greater than driving fast cars. Victor, I know you don't trust anyone else, but you can trust me. We need you and Reed can tap into the potential, answer the questions that we have yet to ask. Sorry, Morgan Freeman, I think Reggie Cathy is about to take your spot in narrating things. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Even when that dude is dead, he is on the ground, burned, you think he's done, you're crying, and he just like, wait, before I die, I need you to look out for each other because you have the potential. I'm dead. Reggie Cathy, everybody. The beginning of this movie, the first like half hour, I was into it. I'm completely serious. Reed has always been experimenting with trying to send things to other dimensions ever since he was a child. You see how he first meets Ben Grimm, Sue Storm, and Johnny Storm, and Victor Von Doom, and he is Victor Von Doom. He's not Victor Damashek. You see them all meeting each other for the first time, and then they make the device that of course lets them transport. Everything for the first half hour, you're like, okay, I'm invested. It's a good setup. Problem is, then the setup continues for the next hour and a half of the movie when you think the action should start showing up, but it still was a really good start. And when they actually become the Fantastic Four, when they get their powers, it's a very intense scene. They show them in pain. They have Reed Richards just stretched out and you can tell that he's just hurting. Johnny Storm is just on fire, but he feels it. He hasn't controlled it yet. So he's still like, oh my God, His dad's just like, oh my God, my son is on fire. He had such potential. Ben the entire time is in these rocks. He's just like, help me, Reed, help. I need Reed. I'm rocks. And then Dave Chappelle came in. Did somebody say rocks? I don't know if you know this about me, the thing. I smoke rocks. That part's out of the movie, I swear. But it should have been. Human Torch effects, flying, turning into fire. Really, really well done. And Sue Storm flies in this too. She can put a force field around herself and put others in it, and then they can just like float around like a freaking bouncy ball. Like I wanted them to go to like a rave or something while they were in that thing, and the crowd of people are just like bouncing them up like, yeah, like they're beach balls or something. This is the last time we go to Lollapalooza. Doom in this, there's a scene where Doom just goes ballistic. He just flat out is like, I'm killing everybody in my path. And it is graphic. He just has this guy, looks at him, and he's guys like his head just starts blood. And then there's people that he's just like looking at and going, and you just see the blood coming out of the back of their heads, splatting onto the walls. And I'm just like, dang, what? This just became a horror flick all of a sudden. That just got real. So I don't know how that one slipped by the censors or the MPAA without putting an R rating on that. Maybe they just, after a while, they were just kind of like, oh, this movie. They just fell asleep at that part. Didn't even notice it. Huh? What? Oh, everyone's dead? Okay, I didn't see it. PG-13. There's a song that plays in the end credits. I looked it up. It's called Another Body. It's kind of got this weird like synth rave feeling to it. All instrumental. It's on Spotify. Look, you look up the Fantastic Four soundtrack. It's the last track on it. It's like a digital bonus track. But I really like that song. And I gotta give respect and appreciate what this movie was trying to do. It wasn't trying to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, which I have already said many times in the past. I don't want every superhero movie to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie or that style. Rob from Quintet TV, who I was with, said it best. He said it was kind of like a sci-fi X-Files episode type of film. And I could sense that. It was trying to be something that was based in science or do something that's a little bit more cerebral or thinking piece with powers in it. And I appreciate it's not done well. It's not executed well, but it was at least a good thought. Now for the bad. So I mentioned the Doom sequence where he's killing people, and there's the end fight where they fight Doom in the other dimension. That's it for action. That's pretty much your only 2 action scenes in this entire movie. The rest of the time is, hey, we got powers. Let's talk about it. The trailer lies to you people. There are scenes in the trailers that are not in the movie. That whole scene where Thing comes out of a plane and just like falling. Unless I fell asleep at a certain part in the movie and missed it, it is not in the film at all. The whole Johnny Storm flying through like a tunnel thing, that's him landing. That's him landing into the lab. They never leave a freaking lab. They're in a lab when they're working on the transportation to the other dimension. They're in a lab when they get their powers. They're in a lab when they're dealing with Doom. They are in a lab, and if they are not in the lab, they are in the other dimension. They never once go into the real world. They just move from one lab to another freaking lab. Even at the end of the movie, they're like, hey, thanks for saving the day. Here's a lab. Melodramatic scenes that don't make any sense. And I get that this movie didn't want to be like silly and wacky, but there's a difference between having a style that's serious and having a style that's lifeless. There's just a lot of times when people are talking the entire time, they're talking like this. And even when they're mad, they just talk like this. The big hurt for me on this one is all the stuff with the government. The government's the one that financed the whole travel in the first place, but they just want to do it, of course, so they can find new resources or find new ways to weaponize their troops and all this stuff again. Freaking Jurassic World even did this. It's like every movie now is the moment you find a power, the government's got to come in and go, we want to use that for weapons. I'm like, we get it, guys. You don't like war. If the government aspect of this movie is from the comic book, I'm sorry. But for me, this was just completely unnecessary. As soon as they get the Thing and as soon as they get the Human Torch, like, let's put them in the war. We need to use this for weapons. Ah, jeez, come on, man. They're superheroes. I want to see them do superhero stuff. I don't want to see them controlled by government officials. Are you really gonna let some dude from the government go, stop, you work for me now? You'd be like, nah, fireball, boom, you're done. Come on, dude. The Thing should have just picked him up and threw him through a wall and been like, who works for who? I'm the Thing. I got my own burger at Denny's. What do you get when you cross a crash test dummy, a glow stick, and the face of Dot Matrix from Spaceballs? You get Dr. Doom in this movie. Oh my gosh, Dr. Doom. I'm sorry, bruh. They messed you up bad. He does not have a mask. The rocks of the other dimension is infused into his body and he's now glowing green and he has a face with a mouth that does not move. His mouth is completely shut. I am Dr. Doom. I like my world and not yours. You should let me go back to my world. Doom! I'm sorry, Doom. I just feel bad for you. Like, this is twice that they have tried to put you in a movie. 3 times, I guess, if you count the Corbin film. And they could not get you right. Ben Grimm's got nothing to do in this movie. The whole scene of him hitting the baseball and it hits the Grimm sign, not in that film. You just basically find out he lives in a junkyard and then he's best friends with Reed Richards, and then Reed just calls him up one night drunk going, hey, we're going to another dimension. You should come over like right now. Click. Seriously, that's really how it happens. And then he's the Thing. It's like you could have CGI'd Jamie Bell. He didn't even have to be there. For them trying to be all like, oh, Reed and Sue, look at their chemistry. They're still gonna get together. I'm sorry. Reed and Ben had more chemistry in this movie than Reed and Sue. If they wanted to be really crazy with this movie, since we already had a Black Human Torch, they should have had Reed and Ben get together. I mean, seriously, there's times when Reed is texting Ben while he's working. He's like, hey, taking a picture of myself. He's like, this is all because of you, buddy. Thanks so much for believing in me. And then he calls him up when they're ready to go dimension traveling, and the whole time he's just like, we've been through this since the beginning. They have pictures of each other when they were kids, and they look at it and remind themselves of the friendship they used to have. Come on, dude, you guys, one time in college, you had to have tried. The dialogue is so bad. There's one scene, and I saw it coming. They're in the other dimension. Doom is doing his thing where he's trying to bring our world into his and destroying our world. And Reed goes up to him and he goes, Victor, don't do this. And Victor turns around, and I looked at Victor as he was turning around. I was like, don't you dare say it. Don't you dare say it. And he goes, there is no Victor. I was like, God, don't you do it. Don't you do it, Victor. Don't you do it. And he goes, there is no Victor. There is only Doom. Bah! I was like, no. Why? I was waiting for Sigourney Weaver to sidestep in and just goes, and there is no Dana. There is only Zool. But the absolute biggest problem with this movie. For a movie called The Fantastic Four, which is about a superhero team, they do no team stuff whatsoever. Most of their scenes are separate. There's usually just one person of the 4 in most of the scenes. Occasionally you get 2. You don't get a lot of brother-sister dynamic except for maybe 1 or 2 scenes. You get a little bit of hinting that Reed and Sue are gonna get together, but not too much. You get a little bit of hinting that Victor likes Sue. They are a team. That is their biggest aspect. They are a team. They are a family. They talk about being a family for an hour hour and a half, but they don't actually do anything together to the very end. I understand it's an origin story and they were trying to set them up, but they should have at least done some stuff at the beginning. Enough of the nerdy. There's no Stan Lee cameo. I guess he was busy. Stan Lee, you want to be in the Fantastic Four? I'm good, true believers. Excelsior. Early on, you see Reed Richards as a kid. The guy that plays his teacher, Dan Castellaneta, Homer Simpson, the voice of Homer Simpson. Reed's dad is played by Tim Heidecker from Tim and Eric. And I was proud about this. So at the end of the movie, when they save the day, right? They take them to the secret lab and the guy that's showing them around, he's like, yes, this is a secret location. No one knows where it is. It's not on the map. There are no coordinates, but it is where we do everything. It's our hub, our home base. It's our central city, as it were. I looked over to Rob and I was like, I got it. I got that reference. Central City was the name of the city that the original Fantastic Four lived in. I got a comic book reference. Yay! Now for the moment I'm sure you all have been waiting for. How do they explain that Johnny Storm is black and Sue Storm is white when they are brother and sister? You ready for this? It's very detailed. Okay. Reed and Sue are talking and Reed looks over and goes, hey Sue, are you adopted? And she goes, yes. That's it. There's no flinch. There's no, oh, I just see a family resemblance. None of that junk. None of it. Nope. That I gotta commend you for. Very good job with that. There was no reason to make a big deal about it, make a bunch of jokes over it. I don't care. I don't give a crap. That's still a problem for you now. There's real problems out there, people. Get over it. That being said, I'm gonna be the minority probably in this. I think it would have been interesting to see both of them be black. And then you would have had a black Sue Storm because I'm pretty sure everyone would have wanted that and that would have caused no controversy whatsoever. But too late now. Don't change it. Don't put Kate Mara in blackface, please. Just saying. It would have been cool to see a black Sue Storm. And then she could have met Storm from X-Men and be like, Storm, this is Storm. Hey Storm, what's up Storm, girl. I just made it racist. Is Fantastic Four a bad movie? Yeah, it is. Is it the worst movie in the world? Is it the abomination of superhero films? No. Catwoman. I wasn't clawing my eyes out. I wasn't super upset about it. There was just the dialogue was just really bad for me and some of the scenes just disappointing. That's the problem with it. You expect more because we've had so many great superhero movies recently, and I appreciate that it was trying to be this whole sci-fi thing, but I still think it could have had more action to it. You know, it is a superhero movie. Yes, sure, you want to do a different direction of a superhero movie, but you still want superheroes to do superhero things, and they just don't. This is again the problem with these franchise films where you're already thinking, oh, let's make 3 or 4 or 5 of these. You're not putting all your effort into that first film because you're just assuming you're gonna have a franchise. You can't do that. You gotta have it right off the gate, be great. Then it's only gonna make me want more for future movies. I'm done. I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I don't want to talk about superhero movies at all anymore. I just think I'm just done. I don't know if I'm gonna review that thing ever again. Except for Straight Outta Compton. Go see Straight Outta Compton. That's my review of this movie. Go see Straight Outta Compton. We're done. I'm out. I love you like a play cousin. I'm out. 5,000. Chain chomp. Yomp. I'm talking about this movie too damn much. I'm done. Thanks for watching this video. If you are new here, tickle that subscribe button for new videos I make. And be sure to check out my other reviews. Yeah!